As you see here, this is what I seen when I stepped on the top of my stoop. These are the homes across the street from my house. And here I've seen the planet Saturn up in the sky, which is very, very unusual, because the planet Saturn is a giant planet, is a giant gaseous planet that's miles and miles and miles, millions and millions of miles away from the Earth. And when the planet Saturn does come close to the Earth, we on Earth could see the planet Saturn as a bright, shining object in the night sky, but never seeing the planet Saturn this close, enough where you can see its ring. And then, next to Saturn was this bright object, which the voice told me was the planet Venus. The next letter in this piece is the letter S. This is section 8, letter S. There are 3 dreams in this piece that begins with the letter S. There's one dream about the sky, there's one dream about a subway incident, and there's one dream about the sun. The first number in this piece is the number 1. This piece is called section 8, One Sky Dream, or S8, 1SYD. In the month of January 19th, 2010, I recorded this dream inside my dream book. Today I had a light dream. I dreamt that it was a nice day out, and the sky above me was very blue. It was not too warm outside. Then suddenly the blue sky above me burst into a large blanket of flames. Next I witnessed white children and maybe some adults flee from out of a city somewhere in America. The white kids I seen wore mostly white t-shirts, and I spotted a white girl pluck a tall flower, which might have been a sunflower plant, from out of the ground before her, and then she continued to exit out of this unknown city with other white children. And the last thing I witnessed inside this dream were black children being escorted by white children into some kind of camp. The black children were without their parents, and I made a drawing of the blanket of flame that I see inside the sky. And inside this dream, I see here a blanket of flame materializing in a beautiful, warm day. The skies were cloudless. The sky was very blue, and this thing appeared. This burst of flame appeared in the sky. And the funny thing about this dream is that I didn't feel any heat from the blanket of flames. Okay. The second number in this piece is the number 2. This piece is called section 8, One Subway Dream, or S8, 1SBWD. In the month of November 4th, 2009, I recorded this dream inside my dream book. I dreamt that I was inside a subway station somewhere in New York City. Then I noticed the D train stationed inside this particular train station. Then I entered this train. The train car that I entered was filled with Hispanics, and it was also very crowded. I did not want to sit inside a crowded car, so I left this car and I entered into the next car inside this D train. This car was half full, and some of the people in this car were white. I found a seat and I sat down in it. Then my eyes focused upon an Asian man who stood next to me. This person wore a pair of black cowboy boots, and he was also tall and thin. He was holding on a subway handle. This Asian individual began to speak to me. I did not understand what he was trying to say. So to be polite to him, I said, "Oh yeah?" Then this Asian guy suddenly jumped out of the train, and then he entered the subway tunnel. Then the next thing that took place inside this particular train car was now I spotted a fat white man rising up from his seat. This fat individual said out loud, "The person who just left the train is probably going to put his foot on the third rail." Then this obese individual continued to say, "I hope he does put his feet on the third rail." Then the very last thing that took place inside this room was now I noticed a tall, physical fit white woman who wore a spring or summer jogging outfit, and this white woman was running inside one of the train tunnels, which were across from the D train I was still in. Next, I seen a speeding train approaching her. I also seen a silhouette of a man who was driving the train, which was just seconds behind her. Then sadly, the train which was speeding up behind her had swiped her, and then hand-sized chunks of her severed body parts have propelled themselves into the train car I was still stationed in. The next and last number in this piece is the number 3. This piece is called Section 8, 1 Sun Dream, or S8, 1S, and D. In the month of November 29, 2009, recorded this dream inside my dream book. I dreamt that I was seated inside a restaurant. I believe I was in another American city. There were a small amount of people inside the restaurant with me. Then my eyes focused upon a giant-sized magazine that reminded me of the old Time Life magazine. This magazine was stationed upon a small black table. Then I got up from my seat and then I walked towards the small table that displayed the large magazine upon its surface. I picked up the magazine and then I seen 3 snapshots of something that was seen in outer space. The 3 snapshots have shown a black sphere. The cover of this magazine stated that this dark sphere was heading towards our sun. Then I heard a male voice say behind me, "Our sun was swallowed up by the second sun." Then I became fearful and cold. Then I frantically flipped through the pages of this magazine so that I could see more close-up shots of this thing in space. But, to my dismay, the pages that would have shown me more close-up shots of this object in our solar system were ripped out of the magazine I was holding. Apparently, someone else has gotten hold of this magazine before I did. I still took the magazine and then I placed the magazine in my hands. Then the next thing that took place inside this dream was that now I was outside of this restaurant. There was a person walking with me on my left, and there was a person also walking with me on my right. I believe these 2 individuals were in the same restaurant I sat in early inside this dream. Then I heard myself say while I continued to walk with these individuals, "I'm a prophet. I talked about this kind of stuff in my prophecy DVDs." After I said I was a prophet, I then looked up into the sky, and I seen the moon stationed on the right side of the sky. Then I spotted a very large dark sphere located to the left side of the moon. It was daytime out. The day sky was almost partially cloudy. Then I noticed the dark sphere in the sky had an orange or bright red glow around it. Then I took my eyes off the strange object in the sky, and then I placed my eyes upon a small row of white people who were all staring up into the heavens. They were staring at the thing in the sky. I sensed they were looking at the dark object for quite some time. Then suddenly the people who gazed up into the sky have simultaneously screamed out in pain. Then I quickly took notice of the skin over and under the eyes of those who had just screamed out. The skin over and under the people's eyes have risen about 1 or 2 feet.